Hey everybody, so this is going to be part 4 of my information gathering series. Now in this video, we're going to talk about the Fed. So I'm going to start off in Brave browser and I'm going to type in FOMC. Now FOMC stands for Federal Open Market Committee. We're going to go ahead and click on this first link that says federalreserve.gov. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and hover over this monetary policy tab and we're going to click on meetings calendar and information. So now we can see every single day that the Fed is going to meet. And we're basically done with 2022. So I'm going to hover over this 2023 tab and click on it. So this is very important information that I strongly suggest that you print out. So the first Fed meeting is going to be at the end of January and the beginning of February right here. And the second one is going to be in March 21st through 22nd. This one is going to be very, very important. Notice that there's a star right next to it. So the star right here says a meeting that's associated with a summary of economic projections. So a lot of people refer to this as SEP. So SEP stands for Summary of Economic Projections. So on these dates, the Fed will basically give their projections of where they think the changes in GDP are going to be, where they think unemployment is going to be, where they think the PCE is going to be, and where they think the federal funds rate is going to be. So these are very, very important days. And on these days, you see some crazy, crazy, crazy price action in the stock market. And you also see major fluctuations in bonds and basically all interest rates across the board. So let's go ahead and see what kind of information comes out on these days. So in the search bar right up here, I'm going to type in projection materials, and I'm going to type in projection materials 2022 just so you guys can see what the most recent one looks like. So our last meeting date was in December. So this was on December 14th, 2022. So we're going to go ahead and click on this. And I'm just going to scroll down a little bit. Now you guys can see right here, we have this median right here. So essentially what this is talking about is it's the median of a lot of different data points. So at these meetings, the board of governors and the bank presidents, they all put down their projections on where they think a lot of these different metrics are going to be. And then this information that we're getting right here is basically the median that comes from the board of governors and the bank presidents. So right here, for example, change in real GDP. In 2023, they expect this to be 0.5. Now, right here, we have the past projections materials that basically said that they're expecting it to be at 1.2. So you can see that they seriously revised this downwards in 2023. Now, for unemployment rate, you can see we have it here at 4.6%. Now, the September projections materials said, hey, you know what, we're thinking that this was going to be 4.4. So it got revised upwards. PCE inflation, 3.1. In September, they were expecting this to be 2.8. So it got revised upwards. Core PCE inflation, 3.5 right here for 2023. And the September projections was 3.1. So it got revised upwards as well. So far, this report does not look good. If you see a report like this, this is, oh my gosh, very, very, very bearish. Now, federal funds rate, they're saying 5.1. So here in the September's projection, they were expecting 4.6 in 2023. So this is pretty darn bearish for the markets. So where we are with the Fed's funds rate, we're basically at 4.5%. So they expect to take this to about 5.1. So that's implying possibly a 50 basis point to 75 basis point rate hike. So sometime in 2023, we can expect possibly 3 25 basis point rate hikes or 2 25 basis point rate hikes. Now, we don't necessarily know if it's going to be 25 points or if it's going to be a 50 or a 25, but I think it's mostly assumed by most market participants that it's going to be in increments of 25 basis points. So that essentially means that, we could see more pain in the markets. So knowing how to find this type of information is very, very, very important because sometimes the stock market, it's going to throw a curveball at you. Some bearish information like this may come out and the stock market may go up. And then shortly after, it's going to go crashing down. So if you know what's going on with these projection materials, you're going to be golden. So it's very, very important to know how this is going to work. Obviously, if unemployment rate is going to be higher, that's not necessarily going to mean a good thing for the markets. Because if more people are unemployed, that essentially means that consumer spending could go down significantly, which could lead to lower GDP. So as you can see here in 2023, that's essentially what they expected. They're expecting lower GDP, and that makes sense. If you're going to see an unemployment rate increase, then yeah, you could expect GDP to go down. Also, if you're going to see Fed funds rate increase, that essentially means that, hey, interest rates across the board are going to increase. So, hey, you know what? Maybe it might be a little bit harder to get a car loan. Maybe it might be a little bit harder to get a mortgage loan. Or maybe people might flock over to bonds instead of stocks because they're getting safer yields. And also keep in mind that when they raise these Fed funds rates, they're not just waving their wand and all of a sudden, the interest rate is 5.1%. That's not how it works. They go to the open markets and they start buying and selling securities to basically manipulate this Fed funds rate. So, if they're going to raise the interest rates, they do this by basically offloading their securities. So that's essentially how it works. Now, this is very important information to know. And I highly recommend that every single time one of these comes in, if we get these projection materials, that you download it and you have it saved, or you write down these numbers somewhere. Same with the calendar. Make sure that you know when these meeting dates occur, because sometimes you want to be hedged when these economic data points just start dropping out in droves. So this information is very, very important, and now you know how to find it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for more great videos like this one.